What is up, fellow MCOC players? Welcome to the channel. Today, my name is Joel. I have been debating whether or not I wanted to put this video out at all. At this point, the patch is just a couple hours from dropping, and this particular character will be receiving a buff in that patch. However, after doing some testing and playing with Jane Foster Thor for a while, I realized that her actual play style, the way that you're going to be approaching the enemies pre-patch and post-patch, is really going to be the same. The buff simply is going to be allowing her to go on longer stun locks and ultimately do more damage. But again, how you play her and her abilities are really not changing all that much. In short, I am very impressed with Jane Foster. I have not really spent any significant amount of time playing with her. It was just this past Monday that I pulled her from a 4-star crystal to finally dupe her 20 sig levels, and up until that point I had really not seen anybody play with her or really understood how she works as a character, which I find characters that are built around a play style like this, who have certain mechanics, to be much more intriguing and I think much more fun to play with than just your simple I don't know, I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, but just run in, hit, and evade back. You know, your Iron Mans, your superior Iron Mans, Colossus, so to speak. These are just characters that don't necessarily have an ability that you are trying to trying to bring together the best circumstances to be able to use them in the best way. You just run in, smash face, evade, and hope everything goes your way. But Thor is not like that at all, not if you're playing her correctly and the way that she was intended as a character to be played. So let's dive into that. Hopefully you will learn something. Hopefully this will intrigue you enough that you'll go out and maybe do some testing for your own. But I think you'll be surprised here with what I found. So just quickly before I get into some actual gameplay, I kind of wanted to just run through the basic mechanics of Jane Foster, which as a character, she is very much built around her ability to shock a character. Which a shock, if you're unfamiliar, is just like a bleed. It's a debuff you put on the champ and it ticks down for some damage over a given amount of time. But basically the way that you apply your shock is anytime that you're doing a special attack with Jane Foster. Right now you have a high percentage chance to apply a shock, which post-patch, the buff they gave her is that whenever you do a special attack, there is a 100% chance that you're going to apply a shock. So you're never going to miss a shock with a special attack. So the big part here is once you have the shock active, that's when the real kind of gameplay and strategy takes place. Because every hit that you deal to the enemy while you have a shock on them, there is a 19% chance that you are going to stun them. So what that means is once you have stunned a character, you have an opportunity to get another stun on top of that as long as the shock is still active, which thankfully the stuns and the shocks all stack on top of one another. So what you're really going for here is being able to stun a character long enough that you can build up another bar of power. You can use the special one to gain another shock, and this whole time still keeping them within the stun. Which I know sounds really difficult and confusing, but hopefully I've got some gameplay footage here that is going to explain that a little better. One additional benefit, obviously when she is awakened, her signature ability allows her to crit. Anytime that she hits a character that is stunned, every single one of those hits is a crit. So she is able to chain together really long stun locks and do a lot of damage because of that ability to have an automatic crit during those stun periods. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show some gameplay, just walking through kind of everything I just mentioned there quickly. We're going to play the Realm of Legends Winter Soldier, and then I'm also going to show a little bit of gameplay footage of the Road to the Labyrinth, the final act in chapter number 6. Or is it chapter number 4? Chapter number 4, I'm sorry. Against the superior Iron Man there, so let's get into that. Okay, so just real quick, I will go through the team that I used, which I was really focusing on getting a team together that was going to have crit damage, critical rate, and also I wanted to test out bringing Hulk and Black Widow. because Black Widow gets, you can see it right there, a 25% chance to stun with each special attack, which that's just an increased chance to stun on top of her already crazy chance to stun. So I was really kind of interested to see how this was all going to play out. So I've got my Thor, which my particular Thor is rank number 3 currently. There's a very high likelihood that I will be using a rank down ticket to get the catalyst to take her up here come post patch. But I still was able to get enough hits in, enough gameplay footage here to really kind of show you what I was talking about. So there, the very first shock, the very first S1 that I put on the enemy there, crit, and it also meant that it stunned, which is perfect case scenario, because then I can immediately go in and start to hit Winter Soldier again. So right there, you can see the shock was almost about to run out. I was able to apply a stun, able to reapply the shock, and it just keeps going and going. I have not been keeping track of what this hit streak is right here, but I think it was probably every bit of 20 hits, if not more. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, obviously with Realm of Legends, you do not have to worry about pushing the characters into an S3 because it is not activated in Realm of Legends. But if you are using Jane Foster in Act 5 or Act 4 if you haven't completed that yet, or using her in Alliance Wars, you obviously at some point are not going to be able to continue the streak because it's going to push them into an S3. Unless the character, I can imagine a scenario where they are very, very low on health. If you wanted to try and push your luck and continue to keep them in a stun lock because you think that you can keep them in that lock long enough to finish them off, I can see that case scenario. But just keep in mind, I am kind of running in here with Reckless Abandon because I do not have to worry about the special 3 damage. Like I said at the beginning, I knew that this was kind of how she was supposed to play, but I guess I just did not realize the percentages and the likelihood that you were going to be able to very regularly and consistently really lock down these characters. Which, one thing that I really have not even mentioned yet is the fact that her heavy attack adds a nullify, which Jane Foster, unlike any other character that I can think of that applies Nullify, when she does a heavy attack, it actually applies 2 stacks of Nullify. So characters like Ultron, let's say I'm going up against an Ultron, I've got him in a stun lock, and I have pushed him now below his first regeneration level. If I know that that is coming up, I can go ahead and I can do a heavy attack, and I can completely nullify that. With Jane Foster, you have much more control because the character is constantly being stuck in this stun. If you know that, a regeneration from Iron Man or a regeneration from Ultron or Mordo is about to get a power gain, and you have these characters in stun lock, you have the ability to go ahead and put two nullify effects on these characters, which I think is a really, really powerful asset that I don't really think I had really considered up until this point. So I wanted to help you visualize just how powerful the nullify effect is. So I have run in here to the Road to the Labyrinth of Legends, which this is the very last chapter. And this superior Iron Man gets tons and tons of buffs. He gets an armor up, he gets a physical resistance all the time, which looking back, I probably should have got a character that didn't get so many buffs, just because he uses up my nullify effect so quickly that it's hard to really see the effects of it. But hopefully here I am able to get a heavy. Okay, so there it was. You can see it popped up for just a second. Okay, there it is again. I've got 2 stacks. He gets so many buffs so quickly that it sucks it up. But what you can see there is it does. Just like I said, it does apply 2 stacks of the debuff, which is a very, very powerful ability. I think as they add probably more champs into the game that have got more utility, more ability to gain health, this is probably going to become more and more useful. And not only health, but like power gains, like I had mentioned with Mordo. I know Hyperion's got a power gain node as well, or a power gain buff that he gets as well. and I can see them adding many more characters that have something similar to that. So again, I think we're going to see characters that can nullify, have the ability to nullify and control fights, especially like this, to see their usefulness go way up. Now, I do realize that in Alliance Wars, you can't really necessarily stack all the synergies like I've got going on right now, and against the Winter Soldier. But I still think she's going to be very useful in Alliance Wars, and certainly if you are looking to get into Act 5 or maybe even complete Act 4, if you have got a Jane Foster Thor, you're looking to replace the Stun Queen Scarlet Witch, I think she's going to be a very viable option for you. Or let's say you don't have Scarlet Witch, she'd be a great option to get into, to have a character that can control the fights. I hope this was helpful to you. I really enjoy kind of digging into these characters a little bit, and not only just to provide content, but also for my own sake. I've been playing the game for over 2.5 years, but there are still characters, just like in this case, where I have not really sat down and taken the time to fully understand. And hopefully I can continue to uncover kind of hidden gems like this, and kind of bring my thoughts and my opinions on those characters to you guys. So please leave your opinions, your thoughts, your comments down below. Would love to hear from you guys, and I really appreciate when you guys leave comments. I'm happy to kind of go back and forth and answer any questions that you guys have. As I am making this video, I did finally reach the 100 subscriber mark. So I want to give not myself a pat on the back, but pat everybody on the back out there who has taken the time to listen to my endless droning on. So thanks for the support. I really do appreciate it. All right, guys, looking forward to this patch dropping in a couple hours. Things are about to get crazy, but I'm looking forward to going through each and every moment of it with you guys. All right, take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.